Hey folks, Dude here. Coming to yet another occasion of a Dude After Dark. And this one's going to be an iteration where I am still in the recovery phase after Otakon. Yes, Otakon. 4 frivolous, fun days of really seriously working my ass off. Now, it could be said those people who are former service know bivouac. They know hard terms, hardcore, basically low sleep, lots of physical activity, not a hell of a lot of food, and pretty much continual, absolute, and full on stress level. Now, doing that when I was in my teens and 20s, because, I actually physically joined the Marine Corps in my teens. Doing that into the, mid 50s side of things, not so much fun. But you know what? The body does remember. And it's also one of those things of, if you have the intestinal fortitude, read guts, if you have the mental ability to soldier onward and, basically suck it up, don't whine, complain, whinge, and bitch, and just simply get your ass off the ground, get up on your 2 feet, and do what you need to do at the time in which you do such, you can basically do the task at hand. Now, is it something that's great to endure? No. Is it something that's going to be a marvelous time of your life? No. But it is definitely going to be some time where you pretty much have to see yourself. I mean, my phone's being annoying here. You have to see yourself as doing those things at the time of which you have to do it, and you basically just have to gut it out. Now, there's a lot of times where people see the situation and they're just afraid to do it. Well, like that whole, gut check thing, oorah, hoo-ah, and, hoo-yah, and all the rest of that fun stuff that all military branches do. You basically look each other in the eye and you say, I'm man enough to do it. Are you as well? And we all look at each other and go, yeah, man or woman. We got the brass reproductives to say, yes, we are going to soldier forth, do those things. Even though it's not going to be the most pleasant at the time, we shall endure. Now, I can tell you personally, if nothing else, all that stuff and going through it, and of course, the heart surgery and everything else, and, going through all these things, it's not a whole hell of a lot at this point that pretty much scares me. There's really not a whole hell of a lot of things that pretty much scare me. Like, other days, some guy basically started, getting in my face and getting crazy, some drunk idiot and whatnot. And I just started talking to him in Russian. And, he's pretty much telling me all these things he's going to do from A to Z and all the rest of this stuff. And I just looked at him like, yeah, that's all you got. And after saying his little spiel, he basically just walked off. It was like, just, you're not impressing me, dude. Catcher on the Rye Bread, getting older is not for sissies. Exactly. It is not for sissies. But you know what? It's also that mental toughness, and it's the been through it all. You just don't give a blank anymore. I mean, that's the other thing too. Is also like, the gentleman I'm working with. He's an older gentleman. He's like in early 70s now, and he's had both knees replaced. He was a teacher for a long time, and he's got like zero tolerance. He will not suffer fools. And in no uncertain terms, he will let people know exactly where he's coming from. And he just won't tolerate the balderdash. And he won't tolerate people basically telling him something like, oh, the sky is green, even though it's absolutely, emblematically blue. He's just not going to suffer fools. Patriot Fever, sir, appreciate you coming on by. And so basically, it was a lot of work. And it was enduring work level because case in point, he actually had a situation where one of the previous employees and, other members of that group pretty much just robbed the crap out of him. He didn't realize just how much money he was down. I can tell you for a fact, this time we were cranking. I was actually running a Square reader in my phone, and it was uplinked to my Wi-Fi hub, which he was just blown away with how effective that tool was. He's like, how much do those things cost? It's like, it's about $1.40, $1.70, whatever it is from Verizon. They're probably cheaper now. And it's like $20 per month of internet service going through your 4 and 5G account. I think this one's actually older, so it's probably only 4G. But using that device and with all of our phones linked up, And using them just basically, for the little square readers that plug into the headphone jack. That's the other thing too, is you need to have a smartphone that is just archaic enough that it's got a headphone jack. Like a couple of the other guys had iPhones, not going to happen. So little square reader basically just goes bloop into the headphone jack. You take their credit card, you scan their credit card. It'll go, little vibrate to let you know, okay, it's running the card. And it'll say approve, disapprove, whatever. You basically have the person turning it 90 degrees, signing their name on their screen. And I was telling them a lot of times to use the pen I was providing because on the backside it was a stylus. That way I'm avoiding a lot of fingerprints. Even though I really have a kind of really scuzzy, not great, kind of disintegrating screen cover on this thing, I really just wanted them to not keep putting tons of fingerprints on there. So I was handing them a pen after they basically wrote their information on a form that I had to fill out. I was having them flip the pen and write it on the screen. So they were signing their name, physically accepting the credit charge. Then the next thing they were doing was they were having me turn it 90 degrees. And where was the receipt going? Did they want a receipt? Did they not care about a receipt? Is it going to go to someplace else? Is it going to be very simple, easy, and just basically tap off on that? And essentially, it is a credit card transaction run through your smartphone. Oh, okay, thanks, sound guy. Quick and simple, run through your phone. Stopped at that time. He didn't get a chance to go. Let's see it pop up, and he's like, I don't know what to throw in here. Would you stop with the dings? Okay? No more dings. Stop with the dings. Would that be an alert for dings?
Death! By snoo-snoo!
No, if you don't stop, you're going to get...
Death! By...
Yeah, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get death by... Wee! No snoo-snoo for you. That's right. No snoo-snoo. I am not going to give you any...
Snoo-snoo!
No snoo-snoo. No snoo-snoo, okay?
Snoo-snoo!
Oh, that would be a cute one. Pac-Man going into snoo-snoo. Yeah, okay. Death by Pac-Man for snoo-snoo. Okay, no, we haven't had that on yet. But yeah, Catcher on the Rye Bread, yeah. The sound guy is infamous for the dings. But anyway, so the Otakon was, by and large, it seemed to be diminished. Like half the hall that I was in was physically not even being used by the vendors. The side that we were on, it was going like gangbusters, man. And we were in a amazingly just accidentally awesome location. As soon as you come down the escalator from the main access hallway in the Walter E. Washington Convention Center, massive place, 1 million square feet, absolutely massive. And we were in one of the halls, and I cannot do it justice. It's probably at least 3 football fields long and at least 2 football fields wide. It is absolutely a massive, massive room, probably about a 30 to 50 foot ceiling. Absolutely massive. So you go down this escalator, you go from the upper level to the lower level. Bam, there we are, like right in front of the escalator landing zone. Boom, right there. Right next to us was a really, really overexpensive hamburger place. Across the way behind us was like a corridor with like, a whole bunch of vendors, and there was a break and another block of vendors. And going behind us to the right side of us, it went down for the length of that room with all kinds of stuff. I was so busy, I didn't even have a chance to see what was going on down the other end of the room. But around the corner from us, we had 2 ladies. One lady who was actually from, hang on a second, I'm having a brain fart. I forget which town she was from, but she was from Japan. Obviously, they were Japanese. Oh man, it's gonna brain fart me. Hang on a second here. I'm gonna have to cheat here. I'm gonna have to cheat. No, it's not Tokyo. It's not Narita. It'll be Kansai. That was the thing that really kind of surprised her too. I don't know if she was from Osaka. I thought she was from somewhere else. Hang on a second here. I'm having a brain fart. I'm having a brain fart. So give me 1 second here. I want to get her town right, okay? Because she was a very, very nice lady, and she was telling me, various things that she was doing. No, I'm really, really gonna have to cheat. That's really, really small font. Her name is Tomomi Miyajima. And she's a PhD and she's selling sake. There was another lady by the name of Reiko, and very, very nice lady. And Osaka, she might be from Osaka, but I just really wanted to get it right. And so they were around the corner, literally right around the corner from us, and they were selling sake, mail order sake. And I do have her business card, so I will be in contact with her to get some of that nice stuff. Like the real deal Japanese sake, not like, the foo-foo, this is what we sell to the Americans, but no, this is the stuff that we keep for ourselves because it's good. That's the one I want to get. So I had those guys, and then right next to them, I had like a local Mandalorian troop. That's in my wallet. I have to get that, but it's a local Mandalorian troop that's based in Maryland. And those guys were just cool, So we were basically talking all kinds of Star Wars mythos and, other things, where to basically find the best source for good Beskar. And, if you guys are going to make Beskar, it should look like X. It should look like X. It should be more authentic, because if you try to foist upon somebody bad Beskar, you're probably going to get your ass kicked, because the Mandalorians don't play that. Beskar is like holy stuff. And they're all dressed up in cosplay. And they're a really cool group of people. And, basically shooting the breeze with those guys. I didn't have a whole hell of a lot of time to, run around and futz around with a bunch of other people, because we were just inundated. I mean, if we had 15 minutes of downtime in between rushes, I'd be very, very surprised. So from open to basically close, it was constant, just sales. Anything from, basically the majority of the stuff they were selling were assisted opening knives. So essentially got a spring inside, blade pops open very quick and dirty. You do have a liner lock. You can then release the blade. And I was doing that demo so many times now I could do it in my sleep. But yes, I did get bit and cut, because you're talking to a bunch of knives that are currently on display. The points are towards you, and they're going, "Ooh, let me see that." And you're reaching in for it, going dink. It's like, oh man. And you're going to be bleeding, because it's just a needle edge on everything. Absolutely as factory sharp as you possibly can get the stuff. So everything is basically reaching into a handful of porcupines or playing with a bunch of razor blades. You're going to get cut, okay? You're just trying to keep the cut and the blading to a minimum. Unfortunately, because I'm a heart patient, I'm on blood thinners. So it's like, I barely scratch myself. And I'm like walking around later on, somebody's like, "Hey man, you're bleeding." And it's like, oh yeah, and there's like this big blood clot where I've just been like drooling for the last hour and didn't notice, because most of the time when you're trying to get it to stop bleeding, it's direct pressure, wait till it forms a clot. It's been kind of a pain in the ass like that. And I can tell you there's a couple of little nicks like that, and I'd be doing something and I'd be walking around with a paper towel clenched on some new boo-boo for a while until it stopped bleeding. Now, if you guys don't want to do the cosplay and you don't ever want to attend an anime in costume, the people watching alone is just blanking amazing. This one, I think, was a little bit more downgraded from the one previous that I attended, which was 2 years ago, because I did skip one because of COVID. But this one, I can tell you for a fact, there were some standouts. There was a guy, maybe about, I'm going to say basically about 6 foot. And he had the cloak, and he had the attitude, and he had, everything all dressed up, and he was Doctor Strange. And I was like, wow, that's really kind of cool. You got, you're doing the other stuff, the stone and whatnot. He's going, oh, I got the stone. Well, what about this? And he goes, and he comes back later on. He goes, here, check this out. And he had a device he held in his hand and basically did like the shield. And it was a spinning device with either LED setup or just like some cool scanning technology on board. But it was a spinning plastic disc with LEDs in it. And it would do like all the cool designs that you saw, like, where they were basically like, make up these magic shields in which they fight, in the Doctor Strange movies. And he had like all the designs, like, really, really ornate, and like the writing around the edge, and everything was moving, and it looked exceedingly cool. You could have shot a video with that, and with the exception of the spinning plastic disc and him holding the device that actually ran it, and of course a controller in the other hand, it looks spot on. I'm sure if you did some digital work and you removed that stuff, but bam, you'd basically be doing the cummerbund thing, no problem at all, and looking, or coming back, whatever his name is, and making it look just exactly like Doctor Strange. In any case, it was a cool unit, and he was basically doing the magic shields and the whole posing and everything, and he practiced it up, and it was really kind of fun to watch. The guy was exceedingly cool, because it was like, let me take a minute out of my little spiel running around here, and I'll show off my toys. And I was very impressed. It looked really, really cool. He did a really nice job on his cosplay. there was so many people dressed up, kind of half-assedly emulating some kind of thing. There was a guy who was doing the hang on a second. I'm gonna have to really cheat here. I'm gonna have to cheat here. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, here we go. It was a guy, obviously a black gentleman, fairly tall, fairly slim build, dressed up as Eric Killmonger, and nailed it. I mean, his cosplay was like spot on. We were walking along. I basically, did the Wakanda salute. He did the Wakanda salute back. I was like, dude, your cosplay looks freaking great. Very gracious. Hey man, thanks. Thanks for noticing. Blah 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 blah. Wakanda forever. That it's kind of one of those kind of cool things where if you know the series or the mythos or this stuff, it carries you a lot further because you're talking in like mind. We're basically having the nerd get together kind of thing, and it was actually a lot of fun. Of course, it was a hell of a lot of work, but there is those moments in time where you basically go, oh yeah, you got your camaraderie, and you have some fun with somebody for a couple minutes, and they basically get their jollies, you get your jollies, and you move on. Kind of picks up your day a little bit because a lot of times this stuff is really just complete and total drudgery. I'll put it in perspective. We were basically selling pretty much just pocket knives. Obviously we did. Yeah, there's a Trump knife. Obviously we were selling some swords. Obviously there was some pole arms. There's obviously some decorative items that we were selling. And by and large, it kept us pretty busy. I mean, I would say, for the whole entire time for downtime, for the 3 days that it basically was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I doubt we had more than an hour of downtime for all of those times. Pedro Fever says he's trying to log into his Parler and Twitter account, and is it gone? Well, I did hear that they actually did shut down the bug in the butt to that one chick. Let me see if I can't find her name real quick. Oh yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene just got suspended on her Twitter account because she, quote unquote, misstated something COVID related. Now, I really want to transition to this soon because I want to have more fun with the Otakon stuff. But you know what? It's time. It's time for this stuff to be said. If you are trying to guilt somebody into doing something against their free will, you are usurping our rights as free American citizens. If you're trying to make somebody do something that goes contrary to their popular and personal beliefs, you're doing something that is contrary to American freedoms. Now, if the mere fact that you have these people who are now like, oh, the vax deniers, or those people who, they just want to make us all get sick. I'm really, really tired of hearing this crap. I mean, it's just getting old, okay? And it is so many occasions where you have those people try to guilt you into these things and make you do something that you really, truly don't wish to do. Well, this is going to a point where you're now pushing somebody to the point where they're going to absolutely resist. And they're not just going to resist a little bit. They're going to resist all the way they possibly can. Why? Because you're trying to make them do something that is contrary to their personal beliefs, and potentially you're going to make them wish to enter into full on and out, just adversarial type stuff. You're asking them to sell their beliefs on the presentation that you're making of no, you're fine, Patriot Fever. I had to switch gears anyway. You're trying to make somebody do something that goes contrary to their personal liberties, essentially. But it's like this one picture I posted up in my memes, and it was like, have you ever wondered how many people you've killed by spreading the flu in the last 10 years? Me either. Keep your manipulative guilt to yourself. This whole thing about, the mask deniers and the vax deniers and all these other things, it could be said very simply this. I've been telling people this, for time and eternal, or, for the time in which I've been dealing with COVID and people doing the vax denying and all the rest of that fun stuff. The pores in a mask are 0.00000, infinitesimally small, to 0. The COVID microbes, viruses, call them what you will, are 0.0000003. Or you're talking something that is almost 10-fold smaller than the holes of which you're trying to keep it out of. Now, if you know the way masks work, essentially you're pulling in and you're blowing back out. You're creating negative and positive pressure into a substrate, trying to make things stop. Well, it's a filter. If you look at any filter, they will always tell you the percentage of particulate concentration of which it will filter to, and it will say, oh, this is 99.99999% blah, 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 effective. Or it'll say 70% effective, or it'll say 13% effective, or it'll say all these other, prerequisite numbers that really just are arbitrary and don't really tell you anything other than a comparative thing, or this filter sucks better than this filter. Well, the comparative thing I can tell you for a fact is simply this. The mask mandate that they're putting on people is about the same thing as trying to keep mosquitoes out of your yard while using a chain link fence. It really is a feel-good notion that does absolutely nothing. And then you have the other side of it too, where people are relying upon the fact that they're seeing all this information come out from the government. Well, who's supplying the information to the government? Oh yeah, that would be the drug manufacturers. Now, there's a lot of people that do understand the way government works. Government is basically a representative republic upon the people, but those people who are currently in office are bought and paid for by those people who sponsor them from election to election, because nobody can make enough money making $174,000 a year to pay the $100 to $200 million it takes to get elected to office. Now, if you get any kind of, let's just say, support and election funding, any kind of, help you along the way type stuff, you're probably going to be more than just a little bit ingratiating to the guys that gave you the XYZ funds of cash. Well, here's the dirty little secret. Everybody tends to think, oh yeah, well, the gas companies and all these other municipal things and the unions and all these guys throw all this money and influence upon the U.S. government. Wrong. It's not. The largest financial influence maker in the federal government currently, in a 75-1 majority, 75% to $1, 75% of all that funding comes from big pharma. Not Google, not Twitter, not anybody in terms of like Facebook or any of those other, social media guys. It's not going to be Bezos. It's not going to be these other guys. No, it's going to be big pharma, like the pharmaceutical companies. Those guys spending scads of cash to prop up all their, how do I say this with being nice? All their whores in Congress and Senate. Okay, those are the guys who basically put the big money in to make these people charitable to bad legislation. And did you notice the very first thing to happen when they came out with all these mRNA medications? And I'm saying medications, not like effective things. I could say probably basically snake oil salesmen. But all those guys were first made immune to any prosecution. Their CEOs were made immune to any prosecution. All the information that the government has been utilizing up to this point has been sourced from, big pharma. All those guys that are supplying the stuff, all those guys that are making the juju juice they're sticking into everybody, giving them the information of which you're not getting both sides. Now, to be completely honest here, I don't know if the stuff's good, bad, or whatever, but I'll tell you what, the information's bad enough that you're not sticking my body with that crap. Just give me 1 second here. I see no reason in the world where there's anybody who has the right to stick that crap into me if I can't get all the information about it, if I can't find out how it's supposed to work, if I can't figure out on my own with my own research, which is, sourced independently of any of these big pharma foisted notions of, oh, no, this is all we really need to tell you because the rest of this stuff is all secret and proprietary. Okay, I'm going to have to get into it really hot and heavy here in a way, shape, and form, which I really, truly didn't intend to do, but I will break it down for you guys. Now, on one of my wife's friends, I believe it was a schoolmate, she posted down something, and I had to get into it. And the thing about it was, I made it fairly neutral. I didn't make it an attack or anything, but this was my response to somebody bemoaning the fact that doctors are refusing to receive the vaccination. Now, here's the thing. If a doctor gets COVID, well, shouldn't you feel safe because they're wearing the mask? If they're wearing the mask and the mask is so effective, it shouldn't matter if they have COVID or not, correct? Because that's the reason why doctors wear masks in the first place, is not to protect you from them, but it's protect them to you. It's supposed to stop things coming out of them getting sprayed onto you. That's all a mask does. It stops stuff being expelled, not inhaled. It is not that kind of filter. So I said to this person, explain to me how a vaccination which changes your DNA can possibly interact with a virus, which is RNA. RNA is a mutation-ridden bundle of information that is read-only and can infect only those, making itself propagate into T and white cells. Then in a cascade effect, making the host, quote-unquote, them. DNA is the very programming of your body and later versions of yourself. Now, the dirty little secret is the version that you started out after you popped out of your mom is not the current version of where you are now. You have mutated many times along the way to be able to survive the environment of which you're currently evolving into. That the mRNA, notice RNA, vaccination is attempting to combat whilst changing your DNA. I'll wait. Please tell me how bad science, blandly explained, makes these things happen. Oh, one last thing. The catchphrase that is so badly bandied about, quote unquote, herd immunity, is where society gets sick, then their bodily immunity renders a disease moot, not from a forced injection mandate. And viruses never go away. It mutates into later forms, attempting to infect. Please know the basic science here. P.S. 4 to 6 pounds of your body weight is viruses. We came from them as an evolutionary hurdle and ladder. That's why they can, quote unquote, infect us. And animals, or genetic traces are closer than you think. A chimpanzee is only 4% off of our genetic makeup. The science is the science. You're not going to try to change things up and call it something different simply because the news media gets their half-ass attempt at going, oh, no. Well, the pharmacology guys told us everything's different now. No. The science is the science. Logan Ray, appreciate you coming on by, brother. So anyway, that was just something I had to throw in there. And I was trying to be nice, but I was making it neutral. I wasn't going to making something like, hey, you're just this, that, and the other thing. You're not telling us all the whole thing. I was just telling them how things are. I don't know if you guys caught up about this or not, but supposedly a Kiwi trans weightlifter was disqualified after 3 times failing to produce an acceptable snatch. Oops. Oops. I have heard some interesting news, and I'm going to get back into this later on, but this is going on about Governor Cuomo. Nasty Nancy Pelosi was quoted as stating, as always, I commend the women who came forward to speak the truth. Recognizing his love of New York and the respect for the office he holds, I call upon the governor to resign. Nasty Nancy Pelosi, House Squeaker. There's more to it than that. Scroll. This is getting very interesting with nasty Nancy Pelosi, but it's getting very interesting. Notice how I've always been saying that when you give a victory to the guys that think that they've won and it's such a bad execution to start with, things are just going to go south. Well, it seems like the Democrat Party's got some problems. Yeah, they do. So this is posted up on July 29. And it says, most emblematically, a Democrat civil war breaks out in the party. Nasty Nancy Pelosi rebukes Schumer and Biden for a debt forgiveness plan. Yeah, why would you ever want to forgive a debt? You know, that's just going to enable people have more cash. You know, they should just be taxed. You know, you need to show these people why you need to put the money in the government, because you can trust the government. The government can be trusted. Give us all your money. Patriot Fever. Maybe if he focused on his form more, he'd be able to compete with the big boys. Cuomo's got problems. Quote, people say the Democrats are one big happy family, but this story puts that line to death. No, they hate each other's guts. As miserable as those sons of bitches are, and I'm going to say, as miserable as those sons of bitches are, they hate each other even more than they hate us. They are miserable, and I really, really want to cuss here, but miserable, gall dang bastards. I mean, that's about as clean as I can make it. Those assholes hate each other on ice. Under the surface, the Democrat Party appears to be a festering wound of power, struggles, hate, and massive egos. Well, that's just how they are. They're a bunch of assholes. Radicals like AOC constantly attack their own party of social justice demands, which I just think is absolutely hilarious. Let that stupid bitch talk. Please, let that stupid bitch talk. Top leaders often oppose one another for fear looking too weak or compliant. Oh, yeah, they have to show their gravitas. They have to be in charge. They have to one-up each other constantly. Do it. Keep doing it. Don't stop doing it. That's what you do best, is pumping everybody up to say you're that kind of asshole. Don't stop now. Actually, Nancy Pelosi slammed Chuck and Biden over their recent idea. From the Daily Wire, during a briefing Wednesday, nasty Nancy Pelosi weighed in on the calls from numerous congressional Democrats for the president to forgive student debt, and noted Biden would not be able to do so because it would be outside of his authority. That's the limitation on the executive. They are unable to do some things. You can't just say, hey, president, do this. Boom, done. It's got to go through the Congress. It has to go through the Senate. And it has to face the challenges through the Supreme Court. And the executive, beep, they just get booted off to the side because they don't have that kind of power. People think that the President of the United States has the power for debt forgiveness. He does not. He can postpone, he can delay, but he does not have that power. That has to be an act of Congress, explained the Democrat congressional leader. No squat. Hang on a second here. I really, really, really just want to I got to. I just got to, okay? I got to. That is exactly how you say that big stinking pile of yeah. Now, the other thing, too, is also we can get into the simple fact of anybody that takes on 30 to hundreds of thousands of debt to get a piece of paper on the wall that says, I am a master of women's studies. I this, that, and the other thing. Where do you apply that in modern society? Oh, well, I could be a social worker. Right. Okay, so let's put this in perspective here. You just applied yourself to school for 4, 5, whatever it is amount of years, and you got your degrees in women's studies. You have put yourself and got yourself indebted to the point where you're now 200, 220, 240, 300K in the hole. Social workers don't make that much money. If you're making 50K a year as a social worker, man, you're making cake. Now, if you live in some place like, I don't know, like New York City, if you're not making 120 to 150 a year, you're destitute. Why? Well, because New York City takes 50% right off the top, you're down to 60. The standard of living in New York City, even a basic, just rinky-dink, rat-infested piece of crap, just little turd apartment, closet with a bathroom, maybe a kitchen if you're lucky, is like $2,000 a month. Do the math. That's $24,000 a year. Hello? That's half your money gone. Trying to live on, $24,000 a year. Okay. Let's go to the grocery store. Everything is 30 to 40% more than any other place in the United States. Why? Because they like things expensive. Oh, I'm sorry. California might be in line with that, but New York City is redonkulously expensive. Unbelievable crap load of just stripping you of every dollar that you've earned. Why? Because you don't need to have it. The only people that really do good in New York City are like the trust fund babies because, they don't have income. They're living off a big bank account where they get a stipend. And if, I need more money. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, Jeeves, please send me more money. They get more cash, okay, in their accounts. They basically have bazillions of credit cards. Mommy and daddy go, I don't want Muffy and Teddy to suffer problems. I'll throw them some more cake. Yeah, that's the kind of crap that these guys deal with in the city, is the fact they're destitute, and the rich guys are doing okay because they can afford to be. Hang on a sec. I got this. The rich guys can afford to live in New York City because, they can afford to be financially every trip of the train. All right, that was on time, sound guy. I'll give you that one. Okay, that was on time. But the thing about it is any place where you've overextended yourself and you now have to deal with the student debt load, you're an idiot. You basically have just made yourself indebted, and you're looking at $500 or $600 a month for life. And it's going to take you forever because I don't know what the interest is on a student loan, but you basically are now making car payments for life because you're an idiot. You didn't look at the big picture and go, I could have been an XYZ, gone to trade school and become blah, blah, blah. There's plumbers that come out of trade school, electricians that come out of trade school, other professionals basically wrenching on cars and trucks and what have you. And within the course of like a year, two, they're out of the school and they're making $50,000 to $90,000 a year. And they're not paying for a student loan. Some places will actually sponsor you. As a matter of fact, right now, if you were to start driving for most companies, and I got XM radio, so I listen to the trucker, the trucker channel all the time. There's places that'll start you out at like $86,000 a year. If you're a professional driver, they'll start you out at even higher money. There's some places that'll pay you 59 cents a mile. What's that? It's about $130,000 a year. Yeah. And what money do you really have to spend on the road? Let's see. If you really want to make life a little better, you can Uber, park your truck, Uber over to a hotel, crash in a hotel for like $50 to $70 a night, and Uber back to your truck, which might cost you maybe $100 a day. Well, if you're earning $350 a day, are you really crying about that? No, because you didn't take that, you write it off as a business expense. Or if you want to just sleep in the truck, you can sleep in the truck. However, I will tell you most times sleeping in the truck is really not the most pleasant of things because, you're still in the truck because the truck is vibrating and you're trying to sleep. It's not conducive to a good night's sleep. And after a while, it's going to wear you down and you will be exhausted. Don't ask me how I know on that one. But anyway, the thing about it is there's many other avenues of which to not get yourself indebted and have to deal with student debt. But unfortunately, a lot of these Democrats, they do. They do. And then they look to the government and go, please save me from my own stupidity. You're so much smarter than I am. No, they're not. They just simply see an advantage on an idiot and they take you for what it's worth. Pelosi's casting some serious shade on the president, Sleepy Joe. She said she cannot cancel student debt, quote unquote, despite men like Chuck Schumer calling on him to do it. Speaker claims that Biden cannot cancel the debt with just a flick of his pen, as Schumer claims. These people don't know how the government works. Who is right here, Schumer or Pelosi? Well, both of them are wrong because nasty Nancy Pelosi could be fixing a whole bunch of things and chooses not to. Not to. I don't know if you guys saw these pictures or not, but the whole thing about like the mask mandates and how unsafe it is to be in crowds and all the rest of this crap that's being sold to you. I don't know if you guys saw any of the pictures or any of the videos coming out of Obama's 60th birthday party, but nobody was wearing a mask. And they were told to delete the videos and delete the pictures on their phones before they could leave the place. And it was really big falderall that, you got invited to this thing, and it was a who's who of people who got invited there. But the biggest thing is they got to their tables and they looked down, and what was there? Oh, yeah, there was a bag of swag. That's right. Obama was supplying the weed for people to basically blow off some steam because it was so hard to contend with the party atmosphere. And I could not begin to tell you how sickening it is for the duplicity and just the sheer hypocrisy that these Democrats seem to show when it's something that's inconvenient to them versus the reality of it, of what they're trying to foist upon the rest of the United States citizens. It's really fake, okay? It's really, really fake. Scroll. Scroll. Here's a good list of. It was somebody posted this up as a meme, and I just thought it was really, really just emblematic of those people who are not going to be cowed with this. Hey, man, you better get the shot, or else you're just endangering everybody, and we're going to deny you these things. You're going to have a mask passport. So essentially, it's going to be a me and them. Them. You will not be able to attend a concert or a football game if you don't take the jab. Me. I couldn't care less. Them. You can't go to a large shopping mall. Me. I'll survive. Now, what I would add on there is a to that is with online shopping, I don't need to go to a mall or a brick and block. I can find any bloody damn thing I want online. Let's see. You can't drink at the bar. Me. I'll drink at home. You can't enter nightclubs. Me. I don't go out at night. We'll tell your employer. Me. I'm self-employed. Them. You can't be in the city. Me. I prefer to be out in nature. Them. You can't go to McDonald's or Burger King. It's gross anyways. Oh, you can't eat at the restaurants. Me. I'll order takeaway or I'll cook at home. Preferred. Them. You can't shop at large grocery stores. Me. I can grow my own food and continue to buy from local farmers. Now, that's really, really true for me personally, because I come out of my house, I make 3 turns, and I'm at a farm. Literally, I'm at a farm. Like, not even 10 minutes from my house, there's a local farm, and I got to tell you what, their stuff is really, really good. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be doing some bacon, and we got one of their tomatoes left. I'll be doing some BLTs. Let's see. Them, you can't be part of society. Me, I already checked out. Them, your kids can't come to school. Me, I'll homeschool and they'll actually be smarter than your children. Them, you'll be on your own. Me, I'm surrounded by my family and tribe and all the people reaching the same conclusion all over the world. Them, you can't choose for yourself. Me, I just did. Them, what can we tempt you with? Me, nothing. Quote, when they have nothing you want, they have no power. And when that power comes to the people, now that's when power comes to the people. So essentially what it is they're trying to do that stick in the carrot thing with if you do this, you'll be able to do that. Da, 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 da. I'm an essential employee because I'm not an employee, and I'm essential because I do Uber and Lyft. You need me more than I need you. There's other means in which to earn money, but right now, that's pretty much it. And I can't tell you the number of times where these service providers are saying, you got to wear a mask. And somebody gets in my car going, I'm double vaccinated. You don't need to worry. It's like, actually, technically, I'll reach in the glove box and it's like, here's a mask. You're supposed to wear it, or I can end the ride right now. And I'm not going to get dinged. Usually I'll put the mask on. Let's see. Scrolly. I don't know if you caught up on this one, but somebody who... I cannot do this justice. I really, truly can't. But This is coming from RepublicanDaily.net. Quote, a female prisoner gets pregnant after sharing cell with a quote-unquote transgender woman. Okay, so basically you're saying a chick with a stick. This was published up August 9. Well, they say they can't say they weren't warned. Female prisoner and women's advocacy groups pled with the state of California not to implement a new pro-transgender law that would force state prisons to accept biological males. The inmates and their advocates warned Governor Gavin Newsom, D., about to be recalled, by the way, and his administration that nothing good could come of it, citing fears of abuse, sexual disease, and pregnancy. So if a shim or a shim or shay, one of them, basically if they identify as a chick and they're a chick with a stick, guess what? They can still stick the chick with a stick and make another chick. In response to the concerns, the state handed out condoms and pregnancy resources. Really? Really? That's how they're going to fix it. Well, this one identifies as a girl, but still has a pee-pee, so we better be safe there rather than sorry. Here's some condoms and play safe. Now, according to a leading liberal women's organization that opposes the pro-trans policy, oh my God, how the hell did that happen? A liberal women's organization that opposes trans policy? So you're saying now that liberal women's groups can oppose liberal LGBTQ, ABC, XYZ groups? Wait a minute. I thought all these liberals were underneath the same tent, cohesive, and nobody was better than anybody else because they all suck. I'm confuzzled here. I'm truly confuzzled. Yeah, this one really screws me up, man. Bad. I mean, I don't know how to contend with this other than simply saying they're all morons. One of the state's major women's prisons now has had at least one pregnant inmate who was impregnated by one of the penis-bearing biological male transfers. Excuse me 1 second here. Oh my stars and garters. So apparently if you lift the skirt and you see a stick, that still is a dude, but they identify as a ma'am. Oh man. That's ma'am. But I got a pecker. That's ma'am. I got a pecker. I got nothing to say on that one, man. Last month, The Blaze reported the Women's Liberation Front exposed the Central California women's facility to move to start providing condoms and pregnancy resource information after the state began implementing a new law allowing male prisoners who identify as female to be transferred to the women's prison. Good times were had by all. The new law, SB 132, went into effect on January. The state has received about 300 requests for transfer, and none of the requests have been denied. According to the LA Times, around 20 of the requests have been processed so far. Okay, they only had 20 of them processed so far, and already one chick got knocked up by another, quote-unquote, air quotes, knocked up by another chick. Oh, man. Despite claims from the state, the inmates being transferred claim to be female. The CCWF, which is CCWF, Central California Women's Facility, began to offer never-before-needed condoms to inmates. Well, you got a bunch of girls there. We got all these boxes of condoms. We don't have to do them all, but we got them just in case. Just in case the girls want to make, balloon animals or something. We couldn't figure out what else to do with them, but we got them. It's not like there's any guys around here. We're fine. Jesus. The move, Wolf said, was a, quote, tacit admission by officials that women should expect to be raped when housed in the prison with men, end quote. Now, what if it was assault with a friendly weapon? What if the girl was like, I'm kind of really tired of hanging out with girls and doing the girl things with the girl things and, trying to pretend the girl's a guy. Look, here's a real pecker. I know what to do with it. Only problem is they forgot there's other things that happen when you're basically playing with a real pecker. You tend to have more of them. Yay. Which the inmate described to the group as a, quote, nightmare's worst nightmare. Oh, no, it's a guy. Yeah, it's a guy. One inmate at the CCWF told the Times the prison guards warned them to expect sexual violence once the biological male prisoners began showing up. Gee, do you think? It's like, do you really want to miss the opportunity to get a hold of some gunya versus some something else? Yeah, I think dude wanted to get some gunya. Anyway, another inmate said during the CCW event, how do we feel safe in our community? When we reach out for help, we get nothing. There's been an assault on women, and we still are silenced. What do you expect when you're dealing with liberals? You're not going to get efficacious stuff to have happen once they've made their mind up that they're going to do something socially inept. They're not going to be in your corner. And you still keep voting for them. And you still keep electing them. And you still keep putting them in office. And oh yeah, you basically run your state with them and you expect things to work out and get better? You are a fool. Quote, does anyone care we're being forced to house with a 6'2", 250-pound men with penises that are here for really raping women? Oh, yeah, because every guy 6'2", 250 pounds just goes, yeah, I'm going to get some. She added, we've been warned by officials in this prison. More are coming with worse changes. Where is the safety concern for us? If we say we're in fear, we are the ones locked up. Oh, man, you want to talk about putting the piranhas in with the tasty treats. Wolf reported on Twitter last week, at least one female is pregnant. There might be more. Quote, we've heard from 7 different people inside the CCWF that at least one woman, possibly more, is now pregnant after being housed with a male felon who was transferred to the women's prison under SB 132. Okay, so basically the guy goes, hey, I'm tired of hanging out with all the other dudes. I'm a girl now. Oh, congratulations. We'll send you off to the women's prison. And he goes, hey, guys, guess what? I figured out a gig. I'm going to get me some boo-hoo. Yeah, man, I'm going to get me some boo-hoo. Yeah, and I'm trying to be nice here, but he's going to get some. I don't know if you guys caught up with this or not. And this one is not a sales thing. Like, you should go out and buy this, but you probably should go out and buy this. $489. They now have got a new little badass out there. And I've always liked these things. The XD pistols. Well, Springfield Armory now has something they refer to as the Hellcat. So the Hellcat 9mm micro compact is only $489 or 2/3 the price of a Glock. I would definitely consider this. It's a 12-round or 14-round with the extended magazine, and the package this thing consists of is not very big at all. I would definitely snag one of these guys. They're on sale now. They were down $520 down to $489. Springfield Armory Hellcat 9mm micro compact. I would definitely jump on that pistol. That thing is just badass. Let's see. This one's now coming out. And of course, Facebook had to put up their own little stupid, COVID advisory thing. But the Pentagon has now mandated that the COVID vaccine will be a requirement for continued service in the U.S. military unless you have religious predilections that preclude you. Guess what? I'd be switching my religious predilections like yesterday, or I'd be saying, you know what, sir? No. Give me my Article 15. Give me my early out. Not doing it. I will not follow that order, sir. I am sorry, sir. I cannot follow that order. Yeah, Patriot Fever. Next, the president has the clap breaking out. Oh man. Let's see. This one is huge. I don't know if you guys caught this one or not. This was going back to the court side of things. But the Supreme Court literally just put a huge damper on the Democrats and all their gerrymandering things. Oh, yeah. They just took the gerrymandering away from the federal courts. The Supreme Court said, don't even think about it. Federal judges no longer play the role of referee when the intensely partisan, once-in-a-decade fight over congressional map-making gets underway this year. With the results of the 2020 census in, states will now spend this year redrawing congressional districts. Changes in the population require that the states reform districts, which could shift the balance of power in Congress. Quote, we already know California lost one seat and several conservative states picked up more. In the past, Democrats have tried to stop state lawmakers from redrawing the districts in their party's favor. If Democrats lack the power to redraw districts themselves, Republicans can ensure that the left won't have an advantage. This is crucial, as the 2022 midterms will come out soon after this new redistricting. With Democrats unable to drag states into court, conservative states have a massive lead. They can redraw districts to reflect current population without fear. Democrats can gain an upper hand. This puts Democrats' hopes of staying in power even further away. The midterms, with all the crap that they're doing, and they are ramming everything home. Thor's hammer. Ramming everything in as fast as they possibly can, because the Democrats know they are screwed next election so badly, because all this stuff they're cramming in is not the stuff that the average Democrat wants done, and they're seeing the Democrat Party as just trying to give them
Death!
Oh yeah, it's gonna be death by we, not death by snoo snoo. No, there is absolutely no there's no snoo snoo. No. It is full on, just absolute, just complete and total. Yeah, they're really pushing it. Curious Entertainment, the midterm results are going to be a double-edged sword. Well, I see it as very, very emblematically cool in one regard. Here's the thing, and I've stated this previously: do not let the Democrats remove Joe Biden from office. Leave him in there, make him ineffectual, make him moot, make him have to fight for every single little stupid thing that he loses on miserably. Do not remove him from office. Leave him in there. Let him be an example of why elections matter. Let him be a reminder of why we believe that the election results from the last election may have been tainted, may have been played with, or were completely not even above board. Make the Democrats deal with this day in, day out, in a way that they cannot escape. Glaringly obvious that they were the ones who put him in the president's seat. Make it absolutely known why you need to be a person who votes, why elections matter. Do not remove Joe Biden from office. Don't even think about putting Kamala anywhere close to the White House. Let Joe Biden be his own worst enemy. Let him come out as even being the worst president, even worse than Jimmy Carter. Let him place the country in such a state of just complete and total just flux that you never want to put somebody else of his stripe in office ever again. People have short memories. People do not become members of the brain trust of those who know history. They just don't. They do not bother. I can't tell you the number of times I have a conversation with somebody and I bring up some, bit of minutia, like the New Deal. And that person's going, when did this happen? It's like, well, it was during the time of, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And they're like, I don't remember hearing about this. It's like, yeah, look it up on Wikipedia. And they're like, oh, okay. So what's it called? The New Deal. Just look it up, New Deal under FDR. They're like, oh, I'm going to have to look that up. And they were just dumbfounded because, unfortunately, they were not well tutored. They were not well taught. And unfortunately, the school systems in the United States leave these people hanging in a lurch. They just don't give them good information. So the situation they're in is you had so many people who've been short-sold all this vital information. They didn't hear the stuff they needed to know. Of that, I shall say no more, but I've had numerous conversations I'm not a huge student of history, but, I know enough to get myself in trouble. And I've had conversations with people, and they're like, Oh yeah, right. Well, what's that? They'll know about 20% of something, and then it kind of tails off and it goes into this. Oh yeah, well, I was watching the Kardashians the other day and they talked about something that referenced that, and it's like, yeah, well, there's a reason why the Kardashians knew about it, mostly because the Kardashians, oh yeah, being rich kids, they went to better schools. Information is stuff that you should be stuffing in your head. Curious entertainment. It's not just the school system, it's the children. They don't want to learn. Well, if you put a kid in a situation where they have to learn and they're not basically going beep beep boop beep 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 boop beep 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 all day long, and you're basically making them stick their face in the book or get something off their devices, and it's locked into something that they need to go through to get to the stuff that they want to do. Yeah, you got to give them the stick and the carrot. Here's the carrot. Okay, if you want the carrot, you're going to get the stick. If you don't get the carrot, okay, get the carrot. Just it's a very simple way of basically making somebody understand. If you want the yummy, you're going to have to work hard to get to the yummy. You're not going to get the yummy for free. So let's see. The essentially what it's coming down to now is the Democrats have no chance to gerrymander states in their favor at all. Elections matter because that's the kind of stuff that has happened. I'm blown away with just how many good people that Trump stuck in the courts right now that is now paying major dividends. Even after they booted him out of office, they played all the stupid games. These are playing major dividends for down the road. Let's see. I don't know if you guys caught up with this one, but supposedly Joe Biden slipped a Democrat goodie into his bill, and it will reward blue states for bringing in more foreign travelers. That would be illegal aliens. That's not going to be a foreign traveler, okay? Call it what it is. Ugh. Disgusting. Let's see. Scroll. It's now coming out that even more damning evidence is coming out about David Chipman and that piece of utter, how do I say this without saying this? David Chipman, you're just a flaming piece of, it's just a pile of dookie. And I really, really want to curse there. But it's coming out. Dave, it was getting really, really good here. Cruz was really hoisting him hard. Ted Cruz was just raping him over, and I don't mean raking. I mean raping him over the coals, calling him on the things that he was. And the thing about it is you have guys like Dick Durbin who won't allow the stuff to be held up in hearing. So Cruz just said, okay, fine, I want this put in the record. And he was telling the tale of woe about why David Chipman is not that guy. Let's see here. Chipman basically was making all kinds of racist statements. I'm not going to get into any great depth and degree, but basically what it is like there was a number of African Americans that basically had passed the testing, and he's like, wow, I wonder how that many got through without cheating. Or, there was other snarky little stupid comments he would make about people of other races. Or it's been well stated that, he thought that the cops should have been disarmed, or, certain people should have been disarmed because the laws didn't, quote unquote, go far enough. That's not your job, David Chipman. Your job is to regulate the manufacturing of firearms. It's to regulate the manufacturing of explosives. It's to administer certain aspects of the firearms industry. It is not to usurp the Second Amendment rights, which are an absolute right under the Constitution of these United States for the people to keep and bear arms, which shall not be infringed. He's really a piece of crap, man. I cannot say it nicer than that. I don't know if you guys caught up over this or not, but supposedly the infrastructure bill, which is some ungodly, and I do mean ungodly size monstrosity, placing us further in debt, doing nothing positive, 2,700 pages, of which I guarantee you nobody in Congress or Senate has fully read, fully understands, and knows the depth, breadth, and every other nuance therein about it. But there's 17 GOP senators who have said, yeah, okay, I'll help. And usually it's the dog's breakfast of all these dirt bags that usually come out of the wayside. But anyway, these 17 people are Roy Blunt, Missouri, MO, I believe. It's going to be Richard Burr from North Carolina, which really surprises me. Shelley Moore Capito from West Virginia. How this skank does this stuff in West Virginia, I have no blanking clue. She needs to get booted out in West Virginia. You need to step up. Bill Cassidy from Louisiana. Susan Collins from Maine. She's a known abject piece of crap. Kevin Kramer from North Dakota. North Dakota sometimes really, truly has some leftards in it. Let's see. Indiana, of all places, Mike Crapo. Lindsey Graham from South Carolina, also known as Lindsey Grahamnesty. I do not like that man at all. He's a fake turncoat. Did I mention fake? POS. Chuck Grassley from Iowa. He's another known piece of crap. John Hooven from North Dakota. Don't know him. Let's see. Mitch McConnell from Kentucky. Well, that's a big stretch there that you would have Mitch McConnell voting for something that pisses away our money. Yeah, big stretch. Lisa Murkowski in Alaska. It's an orange. Hi, orange. Hi. Rob Portman from Ohio. Jim Risch from Idaho. Mitt Romney from Utah. Utah, you need to get rid of Mitt Romney. Form a recall and get that piece of crap out of office. Tom Tillis from North Carolina. He's a known piece of crap. Todd Young from Indiana. So all these guys, and I'm going to say guys, are known troublemaking, turncoat, rhino, no goods who need to be removed from office because they are indebting not just us, but our children and our children's children. This infrastructure bill is not a good piece of legislation. You have a country that makes X amount of dollars per year, and we're now superseding that dollar amount by 50 to 70%. We cannot afford to spend ourselves completely into insolvency. Just because you're making, paper in a room does not mean that paper has any value. And I'm not doing anything like untoward here. I'm just petting a cat. Yes. This guy right here. This guy right here. Mr. Orange. Oh, thank you. He always does this when I wear dark clothing. Let's see. So any of these guys need to get booted out of office. They are not good juju. Let's see. Scroll. Okay, finally, we have come to the story of which I've been waiting for this one. I've been waiting for this one. Like to Option Companions, even though it's water, to Option Companions. I cannot begin to tell you how much this gladdens my heart to hear. But of all the things this piece of dirt has done to the people of the state of New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced his resignation over harassment allegations. Published on today. New York Governor, this is coming from RepublicanDaily.net. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, a Democrat, announced on Tuesday he'll resign effective in 14 days after allegations of sexual harassment that were detailed in a state's attorney general's report last week. Why does it always take them have to play grab ass to get these pieces of, hang on a second here. I got this. And them playing grab ass to get these pieces of out of office. Why does it always take them having to play grab ass? Cuomo's resignation came as the New York Assembly started deliberations Monday on an impeachment inquiry into his conduct, and as top Democrat officials, including the President Joe Biden, called on him to resign. That's nice. Quote, best way I can help now is if I step aside and let government get back to government, end quote, Cuomo said in a televised speech. Oh, you're so brave. Golf clap. You're so brave. You're so brave. But Cuomo said he did not intentionally show disrespect toward any female staffers or women, asserting that the claims against him were, quote unquote, politically motivated. That doesn't mean you didn't say you didn't do it, asshole. That says that you're trying to say, well, you're just going after me because I'm a political-minded person in politics. And step off, jackass. An impeachment, however, was thrust in New York into a state of turmoil for months, the three-term governor said, explaining that's why he's resigning. Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, a 62-year-old Democrat and former member of Congress, will become the state's 57th governor and the first woman to head New York State. Gee, how much could she possibly blank it up worse than anybody else did? Quote, it's a matter of life and death. Government operations and wasting energy on distraction is the last thing government should be, Cuomo also remarked. Quote, I cannot be the cause New York tough means New York loving. And I love New York and I love you. Everything I've ever done has been motivated by that love, and I would never want to be unhelpful in any way. You blanking piece of bull dookie. Ugh. If there was ever any time I wanted to curse hard, it was right now. What a utter arrogant blank tard. Hang on a second here. I got this. I got this. I got this. You.
I'm juggling thunder.
Yeah. Him. Yeah. That's all I can really say about that is just, you utter arrogant.
You dick.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class. You dick.
And I wish I could say stronger, because if there's anybody truly deserving of such, it's Andrew Cuomo. And according to such, I will also apply thusly upon his brother, Fredo. Yeah, I'll call you Fredo too, you goomba piece of Guido trash. And speaking to his three daughters, Cuomo told them, quote, I want them to know from the bottom of my heart that I never did and I would never intentionally disrespect a woman. Treat any woman differently, I want them treated, and that is the God's honest truth. Mother, father, your ass is going to burn in hell. Call that what it is. Let's see. Scroll. Patriot Reviewer says, did you hear the Chicago PD turned their backs on Lori Lightfoot after another officer was shot and killed? Yes, I did. And if there was ever anybody truly deserving, it's that arrogant, carpet munching, box eating, liberal, left hard dirtbag. Yeah. Lori Lightfoot, just Beetlejuice looking skank. Yeah. Logan Narrator says, room, I have a question. How much are your local news channels covering COVID-19 and the vax? Dude, I would not know. I do not watch public broadcast television at all. I just do not. Don't. Just don't. I want to keep my head free and clear of pollutants known as liberal insurgency and stupidification. I just don't do it. Patriot Review in the room says, Chuck Grassley doesn't surprise me. He has said he would support it for years because it's been being from an AG state or ag state, which frequently has issues getting product due to bad rail and western or waterways. Okay, well, the problem with the infrastructure bill is the same problem as, that Great Society thing, a New Deal that FDR did. Dude, the New Deal was an infrastructure bill. It was not something that was this fixing America, coming out of the Depression, fixing all of our problems. No, some of the policies, if not all of the policies that FDR placed in, extended the Great Depression. And if you want to really, truly be honest about it, the only thing that truly did get us out of the Great Depression was World War II. That's it. Cuomo can go full on his own sword. Yeah, no, Cuomo has no sword. Cuomo would be falling onto a big double-ended dildo or something. That's pretty much all he's going to get. I got no respect for the man. New York Attorney General Letitia James presents the findings of an independent investigation and accusations by multiple women that New York Governor Andrew Cuomo sexually harassed them in New York City on August 3rd, 2021. That is a hell of a fast turnaround. It came a week after New York Attorney General Letitia James, also a Democrat, wrote a lengthy report that he engaged in sexual harassment and his chamber mishandled allegations against him. She did not charge the governor with a crime, although several sheriff's offices and prosecutors have announced they're investigating. Translation, it was a phone call, and it was like, hello, we're investigating you for sexual harassment. I didn't do it. Yeah, well, here's the thing. We're going to hang you by it no matter what you say, and we're going to basically ruin you. You got two choices. One of them being you just resign. The other one being is we drag all this crap out, and you look like total crap in the next election. What do you want to do? He's like, yeah, I'll resign. But, what golden parachute am I going to get? Well, you got a retirement thing that's going to be in place, and we'll take care of you. And we need you to get out, okay? All right, I'm done. Bye. So somebody on the ethers said they're tired of dealing with Guido Mark 1 versus Guido Mark 2 on the television. And they said, yeah, we need to get him out of here. Fredo Mark 1 versus Fredo Mark 2. So maybe he's Guido and Fredo's the little dirt bag on television. Anyway, yeah, so blank off, you miserable pile of libtardation. Get out of here. I don't know if you guys caught up on this one or not, but this one is actually kind of cute. Supposedly, this is coming from about to be also on the other side of the country, hopefully potentially booted out of office. We're talking about Governor Gavin Newsom, the utterly disreputable pile of Californian elector bungled governor. Yeah, him. Yeah. Him. Anyway, we're talking about the governor of California. So he's asking them specifically to skip the key second question on the recall ballot. Huh. Now, why would he do that? Oh, because the question names candidates who may request, the question names candidates who may replace Newsom if recalled. That's why he's doing it. So Californians to vote in the upcoming recall election and vote against recall and skip the key second question. California Governor Gavin Newsom told supporters on Monday, quote, we're just focusing on, quote, unquote, no on the recall, leaving the rest blank, the Democrat told reporters in Berkeley when asked if what he's telling his base. Translation, don't kick me out, please. Just act like you're a total idiot. Why? Because I might have...
I've got balls of steel.
No, you don't. No. You are just, yeah, that's pretty much it. You're just, yeah, exactly. No reason in the world. Are you done? He's almost done. I think we're out of files.
Fatality.
Really? Anyway, so looking at things as it is, he's asking them to skip that second question because that then makes the recall vote of that person null and void. So, voters will decide whether to recall Newsom, a first-term governor on December 14, after a group amassing millions of signatures, angered by rising crime and homelessness in the state, as well as the harsh measures Newsom imposed amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Translation, Thor's hammer. People are sick of your Bravo Sierra, Newsom. The first ballot question will ask Californians if they wish to recall Newsom. The second will ask if they choose who they will choose as a replacement if he is recalled. please don't be an asshole and write in Mickey Mouse. Put in a decent person. If you want to really, really, really blank him up, put in somebody from the other side of the aisle that you can work with. Stop with this continually voting in Democrats because, they're the best guys for the job. Stop with this, the left side's better than the right side. Your state sucks because you keep putting in Democrats. Stop putting in Democrats, okay? Just stop. 46 other candidates are on the ballot, but most are Republicans. None of the Democrats have political experience. They range from mother and business owner Holly Bade to college student John Drake to free speech lawyer Daniel Watts. Compared to the strong Democrats, the Republican field is crowded. It includes businessman Larry Cox, political commentator Larry Elder. Oh my God, Larry Elder would be phenomenal. Vote for that gentleman. Former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer, no. And state Representative Kevin Kiley. Do not put another politician in there. Put a new face in that seat. I would love to see Larry Elder in that job. You want to see that state get fixed? Put somebody in there as a strong conservative like Larry Elder. You will see amazing things happen to that state. It worked under Reagan, and that state was profitable. That state was working fine. They started going, we don't like this old fogey anymore. We got to get this guy out of here. He's just an actor. So what they do? Later on, they put Schwarzenegger in. And Schwarzenegger, what did he do? Well, he went pretty hard left. I'm a libertarian. No, you're not a libertarian, dirtbag. You're a freaking leftard, okay? You're only as libertarian as it makes you money. And only as soon as you get something screwed onto your pecker. After that, pretty much you're not a libertarian anymore. Ugh. I have no respect for Arnold Schwarzenegger. None at all. He's a piece of crap, in my opinion. Polls indicate Elder has the most support, but not enough to make his selection a given if Newsom is recalled. The California Republican Party is poised to make an endorsement over the weekend, but chose not to, arguing the focus should be on sending Newsom packing. Why don't you just simply say Larry Elder needs to be in office? Stop this parsing about this milquetoast BS. Larry Elder is the guy, okay? He's not a dumb person. He's definitely somebody who knows what he's talking about. He's not exactly a kid. He's 69 years old. Been there, done that, seen it all. He's a realist, and I really, truly enjoy when he's on the radio because he's fun to listen to. Now, if he applies any of that great intelligence and intellect in running a state like California, nothing but anything good can happen to anything else that could be coming down the wayside by putting another Democrat in there. Larry will fix the place. Trust me. Arnold Schwarzenegger replaced Davis after Gray Davis. Gray Davis is right up there with Newsom in terms of ability. Newsom is the new Gray Davis. He really, truly is. By winning half the vote, beating the state lieutenant governor at a time by 1.5 million votes. Nothing, I would love to see Larry Elder running that place. He's going to do good things if he gets in. Let's see. I did post up something I thought was kind of fun. It was, of all things, it was a link to a story. And it was saying, do cars still run after being hit by an EMP? Now, there's a little bit of a technical thing going on here that I think is actually kind of funny. People tend to think that an EMP is less energetic and less powerful, an EMP is more energetic and more powerful than a direct lightning strike upon a vehicle. Now, they've tested vehicles in modern era, and by and large, they don't do good. There's a lot of avionics on board. I'm saying avionics, so like electronic stuff. And there's way too many things that could go kablooey. Older cars have less, whiz-bang kajiggers, and they tend to pop a lot less because there's less stuff to go wrong. However, most cars with modern construction are usually put together in such a way they can take a lightning strike, and they'll just go. They might stall, and then you'll have to restart the vehicle. If they don't stall, obviously something got shorted out and fried, and it could be hopefully replaced. But in modern cars, there is so many modules. There's so many intrinsic little things that it might not be worth the effort to say, I'm going to try to make, my complete bug out vehicle is going to be the newest, bestest whiz bang thing, blah, 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 because there's so much electronics on board. It's going to be an issue when it goes kablooey. Now, case in point, I can tell you for a fact, there was a point where I was driving my Pilot around, and it's a Honda 2016 EXL. So basically, it's like mid-range in terms of the trim levels, and it's leather interior. So you get a couple, nice things when you go to the L package. Obviously, leather seats clean up much better than cloth seats, much easier to keep them clean. Yes, the wear and tear on them is not quite so pretty, but they tend to hold up quite a bit better for, lots of people shifting in and out of a vehicle doing Uber and Lyft. Obviously, got a sunroof. Sometimes you can get navigation on them, or you can get the voice actuated stuff, and any of that things. It's kind of cool and all. However, for navigation, most times I'm simply just using my phone, which gives me navigation for doing Uber and Lyft. Plus, I have a backup Garmin that's stuck to my windshield as a just in case. Now, the biggest problem is, they've said, oh, yeah, well, these new cars, they're so ruggedized and they're good. And no, there's really not that much stuff that's good about all the technology, other than it gives you a couple more whiz-bang toys. But when they go south, then you have to figure out which part of the whiz-bang toy broke. Now, like I said, I have a 2016. That was one of the first model years of a new body style. It's a current body style. However, mine was equipped with a 6-speed transmission versus the other one, which is a 9-speed transmission. If you look at my car, I actually still have a shifter. And the 9 speeds, they're basically just buttons. Now, the direct interconnection I have with mine is you literally are taking it in and out of park. You're not pushing on a button and hoping the solenoid throws the thing in park or takes it out of park. I actually can take the thing and put it in and out of park. That's kind of nice. The downside is I was driving around one day and it started getting weird at a cruise of about like 30 to 40 miles an hour. It kind of had like this weird little shutter, and I'd see the tack kind of floating around a little bit. And I'm like, man, something's going on here. So did some looking up, did some hanging out on various pages and looking around at things, and obviously doing some looking around on the internet to see if there's a campaign on it or if there is a service technical bulletin on it. And eventually I did find out that there was a technical bulletin on it. Well, it's something that I couldn't fix. They literally had to take the car and literally plug it into a computer and go, okay, let me program you for the thing that you're supposed to do now. Okay, you shouldn't shift like this. You should shift like this. This is the patch I'm uploading to the transmission control module, and this is the way that you're going to drive from here on in. And after they did that, the car basically stopped doing the previous problem. Now, the other thing that they installed in that when they did that is now sometimes it basically has a shutter, like a jump. It'll go from like, second to first gear, like abruptly. It'll do like a very, very hard upshift in the first gear and, or downshift in the first gear. And it does that occasionally. It doesn't do it all the time. Most of the time, it's really not a major drivability thing, but sometimes it will catch you by surprise. And of course, like you have passengers and they're like, it's like, okay, I didn't just pop the clutch. Sorry about that. And it does it sometimes. It doesn't do it all the time, but it's part of the programming that they put into it. It wasn't doing it before, but I lost that weird little shutter thing where I literally had to take the transmission and take it out of 5th and 6th gear by hitting the button on the side of the shifter. It drops it into 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, then it doesn't upshift into 5 and 6. It basically stays in 4th gear. Well, the problem with doing that is, of course, you lose a couple of miles per gallon. And if you're driving Uber and Lyft, you want to make the most amount of mileage that you possibly can, especially if you're driving around nowadays with the heat being up and you want the AC running so people are comfortable. You're going to try to get the maximum amount of gas mileage. And just by running the AC, I've already lost a couple of miles per gallon. So I want to get the maximum gas mileage I possibly can. So, looking around and seeing what that article was talking about, they were talking about, oh, yeah, well, you want to get something that's before 1990 and minimal amount of electronics. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, most amount of minimal electronics that you're possibly going to have is probably what's known as a 1 or a 3-wire diesel engine. Now, I'm saying a 3-wire because what there is normally is there's 1 wire to run the starter. There's 1 wire to run the glow plugs. The 3rd wire runs to the injector pump, and that's the only thing that pops that little solenoid to make the engine stop running. Because if you don't drop that solenoid that makes the fuel stop flowing, it won't turn off. And some cars, the technology was such as that pretty much the 1 wire was the only wire going to the engine with the exception of the starter. Some cars don't need glow plugs to start. Some cars do need glow plugs to start. And then there's some that you know, pretty much it's a foregone conclusion. You always have a can of ether because they're just a pain in the ass. Some of them are actually a lot easier to fire up than others. The one that I would dearly love to get, and I drove I can't tell you how many hundreds of thousands of miles, but the Ford 7.3 IDI engine, which is the non-turbo international, just great motor. I mean, it's like 140 horsepower, but it's like 300 foot-pounds of torque, 380 foot-pounds of torque. I mean, it's just, you know, it's like all slug, no real guts, not the fastest thing ever. In a tow truck, it's a slug. I mean, you're the slowest thing on the road most times. And once you get it up to cruise, it does okay, but you're not beating anybody from traffic light to traffic light. And once you put a turbo on it, it kind of wakes it up. And that came later. But of course, there's a lot more stuff going on with that one. You actually do have some onboard diagnostic stuff, and you have some onboard engine control stuff, and it gets more complicated. Of course, you now have to have a turbocharger, an intercooler, oil lines, and all the rest of that fun stuff. I would rather have just something that's non-turbo, simple, stupid, and easy to work on as a mid-60s, you know, just V8 engine. There's not a lot going on there. It's pretty much just give it gas, give it, you know, basically a way to start. And once the diesel's started, it's running. I mean, that's pretty much it. And those Fords, when the glow plugs are working right, you cycle the glow plug once, turn it back off, cycle it again, light goes off, fire it up, let it run for a couple of minutes so you don't basically break anything. And after it's run for about 2 or 3 minutes, drive it nicely. That's pretty much it. Let's see. Kuma. Patriot Fever to rooms. Yeah, didn't say agree. Just yeah, that's pretty much it. But I still think Kuma needs to fall in a big dildo. That's just so appropriate. Hopefully, he falls on it the right way that he gets like full penetration. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much the way I would say is if you're looking for something that's completely AMP proof, you're going to need a diesel. And if you want to really get hardcore, you're going to need a diesel with an alternate starting method. So you really relegate the ability for no electricity to not even be anything that's an issue, because if you have a diesel with a generator style electronic ignition, and there is no electronic ignition, I'm just talking like just a charging system, you don't even need a battery, because when you have an alternator actually needs a field to be generated to make power, which is why if you run an alternator with a very weak battery, you burn out the alternator, because the alternator is trying to make too much power for the amount of power that's going back to it, and it's overworking itself till eventually it just pops it pops the diodes and it pops the transistors. And once you start getting to that, yeah, you can service them, but having spares is really kind of something you're not going to experience with any great joy, because finding alternator parts is not easy. Finding a generator is not easy either, but it's easier to make a generator work versus an alternator. An alternator basically needs to have power going in to get power out. A generator, basically, as soon as you spin it up, it makes power. Yes, it makes less power at idle versus like working RPMs, but it was good enough in the day. And of course, you know, the classic when you drive a car with an alternator, you come to a stoplight, the lights get dim. Then when you start driving off, they get brighter again. You know, it's just the way the technology worked. Now, in terms of EMP and all that other stuff, yeah, it's a potential threat. I don't really see it happening, because if you crush the United States economy, the rest of the world is not going to do good. Especially if the Chinese or something or somebody else was so stupid to put a couple of nukes up above us and basically fry our infrastructure, the rest of the world would not be doing good in about 2 weeks. I guarantee you that. There's some areas that be completely indifferent. Like, yeah, we don't have that kind of lifestyle that's that much dependent on technology, but I guarantee you, if our side of the internet crashed, the rest of the world's internet would crash as well. It's not going to be like you just turn off the United States and the rest of the world's internet just works. It's too interconnected, and there's way too much other stuff going on that needs the other stuff to handshake. That's just how it is. All right, folks, so coming up on about an hour and 35. I appreciate your kind attention. You guys hanging out with me tonight. We'll be posting this video up on Facebook about a day later or so. I appreciate your kind attention. You guys hanging out with me. I know you got many other places to go. Be sure to check me out also on my Gab account. Put some stuff on there. You know, it's not like hammer a ton of stuff on there, but you know, it's going to be gab.com/80. Was it? Hang on a second here. Brain fart. Keep myself honest. coming out of that show. I'm like still slightly conjittered. Dude Jerky 80S. So that's going to be my Gab account. So gab.com/Dude Jerky 80S. I appreciate you guys' attention. You guys have been able to place to go. You guys hung out with me tonight, and you could have gone anywhere else. So you get a gold star for attendance. And I guess I'm going to break off on this one, bro. I appreciate your kind attention. You guys hung out with me, and well, you know, you get something out of it. I'm thinking. I don't know how much, but it's worth something. Okay, just ask around. Maybe somebody will. I think sound guy's giving me a cue. All right, I'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one, and I'll catch you guys later. And 80s, good stuff like that there. See you guys. British.